En février 2012, les chambres de commerce, d'industrie et d'agriculture d'Ouganda et de Tanzanie ont organisé un forum de 2 jours à Kampala, capitale de l'Ouganda, afin d'instaurer un dialogue entre le secteur privé et le secteur public concernant les conditions d'investissement. Le forum, soutenu par la Business Climate Facility, sous l'égide de l'unité de gestion de projet des secrétariats de l'ACP à Bruxelles, visait principalement à identifier les contraintes pesant sur les affaires et les investissements en Afrique de l'Est. Il a rassemblé environ 160 participants représentant des chambres de commerce, des agences gouvernementales, des ministères et des entreprises du secteur privé de la région. M. Frédéric Alipuy, chef d'équipe du projet, a ouvert le débat en expliquant les objectifs du forum. Il a entre autres défini une feuille de route visant à établir un cadre harmonisé d'incitation à l'investissement pour les marchés communs d'Afrique de l'Est. Il a également souligné le besoin de renforcer le dialogue public-privé afin de promouvoir les investissements dans la région.
We are aiming at creating an enabling environment for the private sector, but that cannot be achieved by the private sector alone. But then this forum is creating a platform so that we'll build a kind of relationship between the public sector and the private sector. The benefits of PPD are obvious, to create an opportunity for us to develop champions and create a momentum for the dialogue in the elimination of the barriers and then to pursue and accelerate the reforms.
Pendant le forum, les représentants des États membres ont brièvement présenté leur situation respective, ce qui a alimenté les débats et engendré des recommandations sur la marche à suivre.
If you look at the life cycle of investment promotion, I normally divide it around 5 layers. On the first layer, you have the actions and the activities that each country has to keep taking for the purposes of promoting investment. And that is branding, targeted investment promotion, facilitation of aftercare services, and perhaps proactive reforms. And then to be able to do that, on the second layer, you need a little bit of an input. And if you look at the second one, the targeted investment promotion, most of the inputs are you have to have a potential investors list, and then you have to have investment opportunities. If you don't have those two, then it looks like what you are doing is useless.
The government of Rwanda recognizes the private sector as the engine of development and economic growth in Rwanda. To manage all of these, all incentives, we have put the charter, what we call Rwanda Investment Client Charter, whereby we have to know, each investor have to know, once I want to register, how many days it will take. So for the registration, we used to spend about 15 days, but today to register a company, it's only about 24 hours. For the environmental impact assessment, it takes only 20 days. Processing of investment certificates, it takes only 2 days. Access to utilities, water, electricity, and so on, it takes only 24 hours. For visa and work permits, it takes 1 hour because we have a one-stop center, which one-stop center have all the people dealing with all these kind of facilities. And processing of exemption goods, which are capital goods and raw materials, it takes only not one day but 15 minutes.
Kenya Investment Authority, just like Tanzania Investment Authority, we are a government institution, and our mandate is to promote and facilitate investments, both in Kenya and into Kenya. We have signed quite a number of what we call a investment promotion and protection agreements with quite a number of countries, and also avoidance of double taxation agreements with a number of countries. And briefly, in the year 2008, the private sector, connected by what we call KEPSA. KEPSA is the Kenya Private Sector Alliance. They came up with what we call a national business agenda, and they came up with a list of key issues that the private sector felt that if the government addressed them, would really help the private sector and also address the investment climate. There's the issue of ICT and how we can really leverage on ICT to get to the next level. And then finally, we need to build a efficient public service, but more important, the enhanced government private sector engagement. And I'm quite happy with what's happening today, but we really need to do more.
The big obstacle that we have is not really a language barrier, but the custom officers and the police who really harass people within the region. If this is not rectified, I think we're not moving anywhere. People of East Africa should move freely and be free wherever they are and regard themselves as East Africans rather as Ugandan, Rwandese, Burundians, Sudanese, or whatever it may be.
If you want to bring any investor, don't worry about the good parts that you have. Worry about the challenges and the worst part you have, and be kind enough to inform that person honestly and say, although you are coming in my country, there is a problem of integrity and you are going to handle it. Although you are coming in my country, there is a problem of corruption. You are going to handle it, and this is the way you are going to handle it. But to paint ourselves very clean, and someone comes in, he fails, the following day he tells every chain behind, never dare come to Rwanda or to Tanzania. We have a problem. I've invested my money, now I can't move. We can think and wish, but if our political organs are not willing, then we remain stunted. And that's why I think until we can have the 5 heads of state in a summit with the private sectors like this, and we throw the ball and challenge them on what problems we have, then this forum doesn't bring us results.
You have a private sector on one side, investing, interested in one thing, money. You have on the other side, the public interested in getting a piece of cake out of the investor. And to me, a framework, a good framework, is the one that either creates a balance or creates a framework or an environment where one would answer to the other.
Yeah, we used to produce many different products like cotton, sorghum, tea, maize, banana, sweet potatoes, which means that agri-sector and agriculture is really the key sector where we need to bring investors. Doing his best to promote investment export, to inform investors about anything related to promote investments, to assist and support investors in general and exporters in particular, obtaining documents and every kind of important documents required. As a regard to investment, the Burundi Federal Chamber of Commerce and Industry is undertaken many actions, facilitate improvement of the local and regional business environment and development, facilitate international trade through East African collaboration and partnership, promote business growth through provision of selected demand-driven services.
Monsieur Amos Tindieva, conseiller en économie, a fait une présentation concernant la performance et le classement des 5 États partenaires de l'indice de compétitivité de la Banque mondiale concernant la manière de faire des affaires. Il a identifié des contraintes significatives pesant sur la promotion des investissements ainsi que des structures initiatives contradictoires. Pour conclure, il a fait des recommandations visant à définir une marche à suivre pour harmoniser le cadre d'incitation à l'investissement dans les pays d'Afrique de l'Est.
We began with a diagnosis, needs assessment, and priorities for investment in ESC. Today we are on the second stage, dialogue and consultation, to determine priorities and to define a framework. Our next phase should be to design an appropriate harmonized incentive framework.
As private sector, I'm hoping that out of this meeting, we have to come out with an agenda that is going to help us gain ground that would enable us to be able to engage the public sector. Promote investment through a common understanding of these major constraints. It came out really clearly yesterday that the attitudes at the public level and even some of the private sector are not harmonized towards the common vision. What can we propose? And really this is just briefly what can we propose. We are not going deep into what actions can be done. One would like to see a strengthening of collaborative efforts in developing programs and projects that build the capacity of the private sector.
La conférence de presse a accueilli les médias dont The Independent, The New Vision, The Observer, The East African Newspaper, The Daily Monitor, NTV, UBC et Senior Radio. Chris Kierere, président de l'UACIA, a déclaré aux journalistes que, pour que le commerce et l'industrie prospèrent dans la région, tous les États membres devaient instaurer un dialogue afin d'assurer la cohérence des mesures initiatives qu'ils mettent en œuvre.
Are we really ready to accept the challenges that have been put to us in this room over the last day and a half? I believe that we are ready. We are a new chamber here in Uganda. You've heard it said yesterday. Just 3 years. Never in our lives did we expect that within 3 years' time we would have 200 guests in Uganda. What can't we do in another 1 year if we've listened to the experts, our own experts, mind you, not other people's experts, and our own solutions? What can't we do when we come together, whenever we're coming together, which I've not heard, but that we will already begin to say, how quickly can we act upon what we've heard here? Not to let us go to sleep again, but be awakened from this day forward